Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
All right, y'all. Welcome back in. Welcome back. 3GW. Here to talk about that draft, night one, the WWE draft. I'm your host, DaReaL Big E. My co-host, Rob the Ambassador. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Saturday night, it's October. Looking forward to watching some horror movies. I'm not a huge Halloween fan. I'm more of a Christmas guy, but I do enjoy watching a lot of horror movies during October.
Glad you brought that up. This month, we will be doing 3 different horror movie reviews, and can't wait to get into those picks. I'll be interested to see what you and our special guest MJ Book pick. So yeah, looking forward to doing that. And let's see, how's your fantasy teams? How they holding up, man?
Man, I won both of my games last week. So in our family league, I am 2-1, and then in MJ Books league, I am 3-0.
Nice. I actually beat my oldest brother in both leagues last week, so that was a definitely a huge win-win there. And I just think I won in all 4 of my leagues last week. So yeah, doing good so far. Can't say the same for my Bears. I'm a little worried. I got $20 on the line tomorrow. Yeah, it's a yearly bet I have with somebody who's a Lions fan, and we just every year we say, hey, they play twice a year, $20.
Is it the person I think it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing my Broncos hat now. They are 3-0, but they really haven't played a tough opponent. And tomorrow they're finally playing a tougher opponent. They're playing the Ravens. It is at home. We have some injuries, but that's really going to show us Bronco fans where our team is at.
Yeah, but our defense is pretty good this year. Y'all got all your players back.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's pretty good. All right, man. Well, before we even get to Smackdown, did you catch NXT and Dynamite this past week?
I caught Dynamite. I did not watch Rampage, and Rampage had a good matchup, a women's match, a 3-way, no disqualification, but I have not watched it yet.
I haven't either. I had to get on Rampage, but I did watch NXT and I did watch Dynamite.
Yeah, me too.
While NXT did lose a lot of viewership, kind of saw that coming. I just thought it was the best of the 2.0 era so far. They ain't saying a whole lot. Still a lot of new faces. They're still bringing out new faces, but it wound up being pretty good. I love what they're doing with Mandy Rose. What they're doing with her is awesome. And I'm trying to think of what else. I thought that it was a decent match between Raquel and Frankie. I thought it was decent. I think Frankie needs a little fine tuning with her timing and things like that. But other than that, I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I agree with you that this was the best. Like I said, it's NXT. I'm going to be patient. When I first started watching NXT, I didn't know who Sami Zayn was. I didn't know who Kevin Owens was. I'm trying to keep that in mind as I watch this show. I think some of the talent they brought in are interesting. We talked about Braun Breaker, who I sent out to the group, is actually the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
So there's some pedigree there. I believe the guy is only like 23, 24 years old. He's a young guy. So I'm kind of looking forward to watching his development.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And Dynamite was all right. I liked the match with Adam Cole and Jungle Boy. That was pretty good. Obviously, Cole got the win there. And then, man, that MJF promo. I mean, I know you said you didn't think he crossed the line, but I'm sorry. I thought it if he didn't cross it, he damn sure stepped right up to it.
Well, I agree. The only reason I kind of hesitated at whether or not I thought it crossed the line is, first of all, I wasn't sure if the story he was telling about Darby and his uncle was true. But then even if it were true, I don't think he does that without getting Darby's okay. Yeah. Still kind of an uncomfortable promo, but if he had Darby's prior approval in an effort to try to get some heat, then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. But he called him a school shooter and something else, a straight edge school shooter or something. Like, Jesus, man.
Man, that's what my only worry is, and I've said this before on the podcast, we live in an era where people are a lot more sensitive to these type of things. When I was coming up, promos like this were not controversial. I mean, I've heard some ugly promos, and I've heard some borderline racial things said. I've seen Southern white wrestlers call black wrestlers boy, things like that to generate. I've seen black heel wrestlers refer to babyface black wrestlers as Uncle Toms. You couldn't do that sort of thing today. It's a different era. Yeah. You couldn't have Bobby Lashley calling Big E and Uncle Tom. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, that would raise some eyebrows. Like, what?
Yeah, it was a different time. So my only worry with MJF is it going to bring some heat on Tony Khan and on AEW if he says something that goes really over the line? Is it going to mess them up with advertisers? AEW has a good thing going now, and you don't want an MJF promo to bring that kind of a negative publicity down on the product.
Well, they already had a standoff with Domino's. Remember where they had the match with Chris Jericho? And the guy used a pizza cutter on his head, and the very first commercial they showed was Domino's.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of silly. I never even made that connection. I mean, Domino's isn't the only pizza company,
right?
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that was giving y'all some publicity, some y'all need, some marketing y'all need.
Right? Yeah, come on, that's kind of silly there.
Yeah, well, all right. Excuse me. Smackdown, draft night 1. They still do well. They did get rid of, like you said, they got rid of that war room shit because that was so lame. I mean, the same actors in the same room, dressed the same, with the same stupid reactions. I mean, it was supposed to be the USA boardroom and Fox boardroom last time.
Yeah, they had, and Fox had Cletus in the war room.
I actually did like that. I thought that was, at least that made it feel more like it actually was Fox.
No, okay.
But still stupid. Still a stupid ass concept. So, well, they kicked off with that, and they pretty much rattled off the first 5 picks. This was what's her name? Sonya Deville and what's the guy's name? I keep forgetting. Adam Pearce. Yeah, they came out and announced that, of course, Roman Reigns was number 1 overall pick, staying on SmackDown. Big E stays on Raw. Charlotte Flair moves to SmackDown. Bianca Belair is headed to Raw. And Drew McIntyre is moving to SmackDown. So those are kind of the first wave of picks. We'll get into the rest here in a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, I think we both kind of knew at least the first 2 picks were going to be the champions. That's easy. I was a little shocked they moved Charlotte to SmackDown, but I think it's a good move. I really do.
Well, I definitely think it's a good move, and it looks like Fox specifically asked for Charlotte. Obviously, the officials at Fox feel the same way about Charlotte that Book and I do, that she is the best thing going in wrestling today. When you talk about the total package in and out of the ring and promos and just her presence, they must have saw the same thing in her we did. So they grabbed her.
So then, obviously, that's going to raise a question. Okay, she's the Raw Women's Champion. Becky didn't get drafted yet, so obviously she'll probably get drafted Monday. Are they just going to do, like, who were the champions? It was Asuka and somebody else. And they just had them switch belts in the ring, and then they just went their separate ways. It's kind of...
Yeah. I'm sure we're going to see something like that. Obviously, we know both belts aren't going to stay on SmackDown. So yeah, either Becky gets drafted to Raw and they do some sort of switch, but they'll figure that out. But yeah, it's almost a slam dunk that Becky goes back to Raw.
Yeah. Yep, but we can't just skim over the fact that they drafted when Charlotte was drafted, they panned to the backstage area and oh my goodness, that outfit she was wearing. Andrade, you are a lucky man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, in a couple of ways. There was a picture that came out a while back. He was looking pretty lucky in that too.
Yeah. Well, all I know is the camera started at her heels and just panned up. I didn't know it was gonna be her, but I was like, "Wow, that's an outfit you got there."
Yeah, Charlotte is really kind of. I mean, she dresses well. Like I said, she is just really compelling television. I mean, obviously, She has the talent in the ring, but now she's really exuding this kind of sexiness to herself. I mean, she's just on point right now.
Yeah, I like it because it's almost like it's not tasteless. It's like I know I look good and I wrestle the best and I'm the champion and y'all can't have me. Like,
yeah, I mean, it really fits her character. The character she's developing, the attitude that she's a heel, it all works perfectly for her.
Oh yeah. And then we did have the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and the bloodline come out. And, they were cutting the promo. He's cutting the promo like he always does, I can't remember what town they were in, but he does this everywhere he goes, acknowledge me. And they actually did. They were chanting Roman. And this is kind of I don't know if it's a fear, but I figured it would be just a matter of time before people would really start to actually like him as a heel, and they weren't going to boo him anymore. They're actually going to be like, yeah, we actually like this guy now because this is what y'all should have been doing in the first damn place.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. We've been saying this for how long? Turn him heel. Obviously, it's not working for him as a face, so turn him heel. And they did, and now look what's happening. And I do recall what city they were in. They were in Baltimore because I remember Paul Heyman referring to them as Baltimoreans as he was asking them to acknowledge Roman.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, even Roman, I mean, he probably did it on purpose. He was smiling, but I still want him to cut that scathing promo on the crowd and just, turn on them. Maybe WrestleMania. I don't know.
Man, I hope so because to me it's long overdue, and it's getting to the point where I'm wondering if it's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. But I said it when the show came on and he came out. I was like, I'm pretty sure we're going to get the beast, and we did. Brock Lesnar comes out, and I like that they got physical. Like, this is what I need to see the tribal chief at least get physical for a little bit, like they did. Give us a little tease, and they did. Eventually, yes, he's the heel, so he's going to cower away and let Jimmy and Jay take the brunt of the punishment. But you at least gave us physicality from Brock, and I really do appreciate that. And Roman standing up, that at least makes it feel like versus in the past, Roman wouldn't do this. So, excuse me, I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well. And I also like the fact that it looks like Brock is going to be a free agent, which I think is a smart move by WWE because as it stands right now, he will have the option of going in between the two shows. So that's good for both Raw and SmackDown when you're able to feature Brock because, I know there's some people involved with this podcast that don't like Brock, but the bottom line is Brock moves the meter. People tune in to see him. And if you can have him on Raw and SmackDown, it's a win-win.
Yeah. I like how it was. He could have, man. Brock can talk, I think, if you give him the right circumstances. And he cut that promo backstage with Caleb Braxton, or he took the microphone from Caleb Braxton, rather, and said, "Thanks to Paul Heyman, my good friend Paul Heyman, I'm a free agent." And then they cut immediately to the bloodline in the locker room, and Roman just like, I like how Brock is messing with his head. Because that's all he's doing. Like, none of this has anything to do with Paul Heyman, but the fact that Brock and Paul were together for so long and so close, it's easy for him to just say these things and you know, just keep messing with Roman. And, you know, of course they're going to have Roman falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. But I actually enjoyed this backstage segment because he told Paul, go to Raw and make sure the Usos get drafted to SmackDown. And told them, if y'all don't get drafted to SmackDown, leave his ass for dead. Whoa.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well, and I thought Heyman played that really well. I mean, Heyman looked like he looked like he was turning red. He looked like he had actual tears welling up in his eyes. He looked panicked as hell, and I thought both of them did an excellent job with that promo.
Yeah, because it started off like, so did you get to make sure the Usos were drafted to SmackDown? And it dawned on me like, no, they didn't say nothing about the Usos yet. So yeah. It's good stuff. It really is good stuff. Like, they keep adding layers to that heel character of Roman. And how you notice how he kind of snapped for a little bit? You know, like he's trying to always remain composed, and it just comes out sometimes. So yeah.
Roman's really, really good in this character. Just don't know why they didn't do it sooner, but better late than never.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So a few more draft picks here before we get to this ridiculous match they gave us. RK Bro will be staying on Raw. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, the New Day, moved to SmackDown. So Big E will be on Raw, separated again. Thank God, because he needs to be on his own and be a champion. Yeah. Edge is moving to Raw, which we definitely gonna talk about that whole situation in a little bit. And then, of course, this stupid match we're going to talk about next. Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss stay on SmackDown. This guy, I forgot what the first name he used to go by, but Moss was on Riddick. Yeah, I remember he was on NXT. I was like, oh, this is a big dude. He was pretty good. But he looks like a fake-ass Roman Reigns to me. You know, long hair, ponytail, beard, jacked. You know, maybe not the same amount of charisma, but they look alike.
Yeah. I liked it better when he was just Riddick Moss. Now this character, Madcap Moss, I have to tell you, I enjoyed Corbin when he was broke and destitute and begging for money, but ever since he hit big in Vegas and he's become Happy Corbin, I haven't found him nearly as interesting. And then now adding Riddick Moss, I mean, Madcap Moss. So what are these guys going to be, like the Two Stooges? I mean, where is this going?
I just wish he would just came back and like, I got my money back. I'm gonna be jacked. I'm gonna be the lone wolf again. This is just stupid. So stupid. But and then they beat Kevin Owens here. Like, really? This makes me wonder: is Kevin Owens on his way out the door? Because they're not doing anything with him. He's losing to Corbin of all people, and I don't know.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder. You know, Owens sent out a picture a little while back, and to me, it seemed to imply that he was going to AEW, and I don't know if he's already made his intention. This is all speculation on my part. I'm not an insider. I don't know. But if he has, I wonder if that's why. I wonder if he loses many more matches, I'm wondering if they're just burying him, realizing that he's already made up his mind to leave.
Well, why would he stay? They haven't done anything with him since Triple H gave him the Universal Championship back in the day. They haven't done nothing with him nearly as compelling. And that was WrestleMania 33. It was like 4 years ago. He's just been floundering. Now, I get it why some people stay with the company for the money. The money's good. I ain't blaming nobody. But we all know that KO is not in it just for the money. You know, and he ain't no spring chicken no more either.
Well, like I said, we still have Monday night's draft, and if for whatever reason they were to send KO over to Raw, maybe they could do something different with him, or maybe maybe he's just decided to move on. Who knows? Guess we'll find out.
Okay, here's y'all boy. Was he the drip god now, as he's called? The Friday Night Idiot. Invading homes now. Believe it or not, I actually thought this was brilliant. I actually thought he did a fantastic job. I actually think that is Edge's real house. And man, the only thing I didn't like was after they panned away from Rollins doing all the stuff he was doing in the house and everything. Edge is backstage on the phone and obviously calling, his wife to get the kids, yada yada yada. But why are you still in the arena? Get your ass to the car and get out of there.
Yeah, he doesn't have a cell phone where he could be on the phone and in the car,
Like, show me Edge running to his car and the camera chasing him. And that's really all I needed. Like, if any man sees another man in his house, I'm not talking. We ain't talking about shit. I'm getting there.
Right.
Now, on my way there, I might call a check-in and make sure everybody's safe. But in this very second, I am running like hell.
Right.
So that was it. But I thought Rollins was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. Segments like that, I start thinking too much. Like, okay, dude, how'd you get in the house? They must have a security system. You don't have a key. Did you break in? I mean, nobody happened to be home. But it's wrestling. I'm thinking too much. But as far as Seth being convincing and just being a good heel, yeah, definitely. So obviously they're trying to keep this feud going. So does that mean Rollins is going back to
Raw? No, Edge is going to Raw.
Well, that's what I mean. But how do they keep the feud going if one is on Raw and one is on SmackDown?
I think they're going to have the blow-off match at Crown Jewel.
Okay.
That'll be it.
Maybe that'll be the end of it.
That'll be the end of it, yeah. Just like they're doing the triple threat with Becky, Sasha, and Bianca. And then, Bianca's going to Raw. And Becky probably is too.
Yeah, this Crown Jewel card, we all know these cards turn out to be bad, but on paper,
this is like the best one they've ever had.
It does. And I have to say, I know we've seen it a bunch of times, but it takes on a whole new dynamic with Roman's new character. Roman against Brock, I find very intriguing because we've seen Brock get the best of Roman, but this is an all-new Roman Reigns. And then the whole dynamic, the story with Paul. Is Paul a double agent here? Is he working with Brock and with Roman as well? I mean, I don't know. I find it all very interesting, but I know the card is not going to deliver. I'll be shocked if it does. I'll say that.
All right. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH stay on Raw. All 4 members of Heat Row is coming to SmackDown, that's going to be good. I think that's a really good move for them, and they need to get that North American Championship off of Swerve Scott anyway, because he's had it for like 3 months and he never defended it.
I'm curious to see how Hit Row does on SmackDown. I mean, I'm curious to see if the crowd responds to them.
I think they will. They got a pop when they showed up on the screen, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Keith Bearcat Lee stays on Raw.
What was wrong with just Limitless? What was wrong with Legion? Why Bearcat?
What the fuck is a Bearcat?
Well, I don't really know, but I think was it the Inside Man who sent out the promo for an old school wrestler, a black wrestler, who went by the nickname Bearcat?
Yeah. Back in the day when they had gimmicks.
Right. But
or even AEW, everybody's got a nickname in front of their actual name.
Right. And is Lee supposed to be more of a heel now?
Yeah. Well, Adam Cole was supposed to be his manager.
Yeah, I heard about that. And they wanted to cut his hair. And man, come on, that's stupidity. I don't blame Adam for leaving.
Yeah. It's like, you want me to leave. Okay. I was one of your best wrestlers on NXT, and now you want me to stop wrestling, cut my hair, and be a manager for somebody that I wrestled, by the way, and put over. No. Versus making more money and hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, and my lady.
And my lady. Yeah, come on. No brainer.
Yeah, I don't understand why WWE does that. You build them up on NXT, they become these great characters to the point where you want to bring them to the main roster, and then you want to change them. You want to completely change their character once you get them to the main roster. What was wrong with the character they had? That's the whole reason you brought them up, because they got over, and then you want to completely change the character around. It makes no sense to me.
When you keep trying and trying new stuff, it's just the old saying, I guess. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What Keith Lee had before was just fine. What Karrion Kross was doing on NXT was just fine. Whether people loved it or hated it, whatever. His entrance was fine. He had Scarlett. It all worked, at least. People could say that. Him coming out dressed in S&M gear every week is just, it's not working. And I hope they realize that, and that's why they're kind of taking him off TV for a little bit and had him cut different promos. But then I heard he's working, main event matches, and he's still wearing the get-up. So
yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't like what they're doing with Rhea right now, having her with Nikki. To me, that's just a female version of RK Bro. These opposites that work together. Yeah, I mean, it's just
the only thing I like about her and Nikki being together is if there's at least a avenue they could go with Rhea when they lose the titles. She could snap and turn heel.
And I do see that coming somewhere down the line.
But that's me fantasy booking and giving WWE a whole lot more credit than they have earned. So,
well, what I'll say is that I like what they're doing on SmackDown, but Raw is still a complete train wreck.
Yeah, agreed. We did get Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. And, of course, Becky Lynch came to ringside. I mean, the match itself, this wasn't really a match to be a match. It was a match. It was a match. Don't get me wrong. There was a commercial break and everything. They gave them time. But the real purpose of this was to set the triple threat and get these three women heated. Which, it accomplished that. Sasha looked great. Looks more and more like a superstar. Becky, same thing. And Bianca. For Bianca to be hanging with two of the four horsewomen and getting the same crowd reaction as they do, and she's only been on the main roster not even a year yet. That says a lot. Like, the crowd pops when Bianca's music hits. And that's a prime example of somebody that was good in NXT, even better on the main roster. Same music, same gimmick, same everything. She's just a babyface this time.
Right. And even though I've been critical of Bianca, and I think justifiably so early on, I think she's really found her character. The crowd does pop for her, and she is rolling with the big dogs, Becky, Sasha, and I think she's holding her own. And like you said, WWE was smart. In her case, they kept her the same character. She was the EST in NXT. She's the NXT on the main roster. She used the braid as a weapon in NXT. She's using it here. Everything is the same except for, she's a face, but that still works fine. They didn't try to fix something that wasn't broken.
Yep. And the final picks were Naomi stays on SmackDown. Ray and Dominic both moved to Raw. Jeff Hardy moved to SmackDown. and Austin Theory gets called up to Raw. I actually like that Austin Theory call up. I think that he'll be he's actually pretty good in the ring, and he can cut a good promo. So I think that'll be a good move. Just as long as he stays away from that damn 24/7 championship. And
Well, that's the whole thing. I think Theory has the ingredients to be something, but he went to Raw. We've just spoke about Raw, about their booking and about how they're the worst thing in WWE right now. So that makes me worry because I do think that Theory is a talented guy.
okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to pull up the other the draft results, the full results, because I know they had them on. Here we go. So Aaliyah was also called up from NXT. So Aaliyah, Drew Gulak, Mace, Mansoor, Mustafa Ali, and Tony Storm, all to SmackDown. Reggie, Akira Tozawa, Alpha Academy, Apollo Crews, and Commander Aziz. Doudrop, Drake Maverick, John Morrison, T-Bar, Nia Jax, R-Truth, and Zelina Vega are going to Raw.
Okay, well, I see why they didn't announce those on the air. Who really cares?
Well, the only one that I wish they would have is Tony Storm. Outside of that, I mean,
yeah, because she was on SmackDown, right?
she was already on SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah, so that was but she's over to Raw now.
She's still on SmackDown.
Oh, she's still on SmackDown. Okay.
Yeah, her, Mustafa, Mansoor, Mace. So they split up Mace and T-Bar. Ooh, who cares? And yeah. What do you think about Drew McIntyre going to SmackDown? I mean, I think it's a good move. You can get him and Roman, get that feud going again. They only had one match. That was at Survivor Series last year, so you could get that feud going once he's done with Brock.
Yeah, I think, well, see, that's just it. I mean, do we see McIntyre ever holding a title here? I mean, I could see him maybe getting over on Roman, but with Brock lurking around, but with Brock being a free agent, maybe we see him, look, that's the great thing. I mean, we're going to see Roman take on Brock. We could see Brock take on Big E. We could finally see Brock take on Lashley.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, so lots of possibilities there. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to, like I said, McIntyre may have another run. They may let him get over on Roman and carry the title for a while just to make it interesting. Roman can't just keep a stranglehold on the title forever.
I was say he's got to lose it eventually.
Yeah, and I can see McIntyre, and I think on Raw, I don't know if it's me, I feel like McIntyre has lost a little bit of his luster with the crowd. I don't know if he's getting as big of a pop from the crowd as he used to. Yeah, so maybe the move to SmackDown will be good for him and give him kind of a resurgence.
And last but not least, of course, we know what a Crown Jewel coming up. It's not Crown Jewel. It's not Saudi Arabia show without Goldberg. Who's going to be on Raw Monday, and there's already a video on WWE social media of him calling out Lashley. So obviously it's going to be Goldberg and Lashley, Crown Jewel. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, the card looks good on paper. You got Goldberg, Lashley, you got triple threat, women's triple threat, Roman and Brock. You're probably going to get Edge and Rollins again. I mean,
yeah.
Really, realistically, it's a SummerSlam 2.0. Looks from when you really look at it, but it has the potential still to be a good show. I'm not saying it will be because we've been burned every time, but who knows? Maybe they actually do a good job this time because it's the first one in 2 years.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't want to get my hopes up because we've seen too many of these shows and they're almost always bad. So on paper, yeah, it looks good, but somehow, some way, they always find a way to mess it up. I'll be able to watch that one live, though. I'll be here at home watching it live.
Okay, cool. Well, I know I had to switch rooms here. I'm trying to multitask making dinner. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this show. I'm going to wrap this up. Like I said earlier, we're going to be doing, along with Crown Jewel this month, we'll be doing Horror Movie Month. Oh, it's October. It's Halloween. And we're getting the spirit here. And the first movie, I'll go ahead and just put it out there, is going to be Hereditary. So be on the lookout for that sometime this week. And then after that, Rob will make his choice or book, and we'll decide on those episodes. But as of right now, Hereditary is the first one coming up. And make sure you check out our other shows. You know, we got the Grand Slam post show. If you're really curious to know the results of Extreme Rules, that shows up too. And just check out, you know, make sure you go over to YouTube, search Third Gen Wrestling on YouTube, and you'll find a bunch of different type of videos, not just wrestling, doing movie reviews, doing trying to laugh challenges, trailer reactions, all sorts of things. So we're branching out here at 3GW. Just want to be centered on one topic. So yeah, make sure you get over there and check that stuff out. And shout out to MJ Book, special guest, his podcast, the Countdown Podcast 2020. Rob, myself, Rob, pretty much everybody on 3GW's been on the show, so check it out. I think that's it. Yeah, take us home.
All right, listeners, we always say this. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We want to hear from y'all. Love one another. Get vaccinated. Not going to be preachy about it. You've heard it all before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, we'll speak to y'all again later this week when we're talking Hereditary. Take care.